The movie is This Thing On, which was written by Mark Chappell, Will Arnett, and Bradley Cooper, and directed by Bradley Cooper. This film follows Alex Novak, a man facing middle age and an impending divorce who happens to discover new purpose in the New York comedy scene, while his wife Tess confronts the sacrifices she made for their family. The couple navigates the challenges of dissolving a relationship as they embark on journeys to better understand themselves as well as each other. Right off the jump, I have to give a shout out to commenter Scoops McCabe for recommending this film to me. In a lot of ways, this is your typical movie about a guy going through a divorce. It has a lot of those same story beats that those types of movies typically do. But what I did appreciate about this film is that it does things a little differently by making key changes to that same type of structure, at least in terms of the details. Like, it's still very much a will they or won't they, but the film starts with their decision to get separated. Like, I'm pretty sure the first line of dialogue is, so we should just call it, right? So the will they or won't they is more of a, will they decide to finalize the divorce and end the relationship or try again? Which sounds very depressing. And don't get me wrong, at times it really is. But thankfully, it's actually a lot more uplifting than you might think. Despite what you'd expect based on the synopsis, I think it's very much a love story about love and just how differently that can look to different people. I also think the film managed to differentiate itself from your typical divorce drama with some tremendous acting performances, particularly from Will Arnett and Laura Dern. They managed to like breathe life into these characters and just made them feel far more real than you're used to seeing in these types of movies. I knew that Laura Dern was a fantastic actor, so seeing her in this, I just wasn't really surprised by how good she was. But I was extremely impressed with Will Arnett's acting chops. Honestly, I think I'm just so used to seeing him as Job in Arrested Development that it was truly shocking to see how good he was in a dramatic role like this.
Oh, come on!
In this performance, he conveys so much with what he doesn't say, and it just immediately gives you a sense of how he's feeling, and it allows you to easily empathize with this guy as he's navigating one of the most difficult and confusing times of his life. I didn't get a chance to see this film in the theaters, and while it's not exactly a film that demands to be seen on the big screen, I do wish I would have seen it there because it does some excellent things with its sound that I think would have been really cool to experience in the theater. When Alex is at the comedy club, the film captures the sound almost too well, where he walks from the crowd to the stage, and it really just gives you this idea of like how uncomfortable it can really be at an open mic like that when, you have the quieting crowd or those deafening silent pauses as somebody's either about to say their first joke or in between the lines when they don't really know what to say. It captures it so well. It's extremely cringeworthy and makes you feel like you're really there. The movie also looks great visually, with Bradley Cooper's directing style heavily leaning on this kind of version of guerrilla filmmaking, loaded with handheld shots and many long, uninterrupted tracking shots that only cut after we've firmly felt the position our main character finds himself in. I will say I didn't love Bradley Cooper's character in the movie, Balls. That's actually his name. He's literally named Balls in the movie. That's what they went with. Maybe it would have hit different in like a packed theater, but I don't know. I just didn't really find him all that funny when I watched it. I honestly don't even think Bradley Cooper did a bad job in the role. I think it was just kind of like the character sometimes felt like it was trying too hard to be the comedic relief in scenes. And I don't know, sometimes it just came across maybe forced. And to that point, the movie isn't super funny overall. Like, it definitely has its moments, but I wouldn't really say it's a comedy. Like, again, it's definitely funny, but more than anything else, this is an emotional drama that showcases that life and in particular relationships are messy and they can be ugly, complicated, but that they're also one of the most rewarding and beautiful aspects of the human experience. Overall, I would definitely recommend this to people, primarily because of the authenticity you feel from the main characters, in large part from their stellar acting performances, the strength of the direction and camera work that makes everything more interesting and engaging to look at, and the impactful sound mixing that immediately places you in each scene. You can currently catch this one streaming on Hulu or anywhere else you can get video on demand. So go watch Is This Thing On? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support me, subscribe to my channel. Super easy to do, and you can make sure that you see all of my reviews. Go ahead and like the video. That also really helps me, and comment on the video, letting me know what you thought of this movie or what movie you think I should review next. That's how I ended up reviewing this movie. I put out a movie review each week, so subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks, y'all.